Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat, back with day 15 of Christmas in July, almost halfway. Today's theme is Jingle Bells. For those that don't know, Christmas in July, Christmas in July is where I do a festive project every single day in July with a video to accompany it, and it's quite a job. I've actually had a couple of days off. I film ahead of time where possible so that I might achieve it. I've had to have a couple of days off crafting. I developed a fantastic allergic reaction to something, we don't know what. You can possibly just see some red still on my neck and going up onto my face. My whole body's covered in a revolting rash and we don't really know why. Good news is, got drugs from the doctor. Spent the whole day in bed yesterday because I was absolutely exhausted. I've not slept very well because I'm really itchy. So yeah, joys. Does mean feel a little bit out of practice, having got myself in a bit of a swing of making a video every day ahead of schedule. I do feel a little bit out of practice. Good news is today's is a relatively easy card planned because I'm planning to use a kit. Don't often do this. It's a design that you would think that's not a normal thing, but I know I love it and I don't dislike it, but you know when you're just like, other people will enjoy this. So I'm gonna. Have I got anything else to tell you? What do I normally do? I've told you I'm out of practice. Okay, I normally at this point go, thank you for subscribing for those who have joined me recently because we've had loads of new subscribers. So welcome to the madness. Thank you also for all those people that leave comments. I really enjoy that. So if you are not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell so you know when I put new videos up. In July it's easy, they're every day, but it's not like that most of the year round. And please do leave me a little thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. It helps me know and YouTube know that you've enjoyed what I've done, and it helps to promote the right kind of content onto your feed, all of that kind of, you know, that's how algorithms work. Do you understand what an algorithm is? No? Do I know the word? Yes. Am I going to use it confidently? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, all that being said, let's get crafting. So, as I said, I don't normally do kits and I don't normally do decoupage, but I wanted to. And this is one of the few things I've actually bought for this year's Christmas in July, was from Katie Sue a pack of 3 decoupage sheets. I just fancied doing some. I did one years and years ago. I got it off probably Creating Craft TV or whatever it was at the time. A Humphrey's Corner kit, and I think fondly of that. Anyway, I digress. Today's theme's Jingle Bells, so clearly I bought the bell one. And this I bought when I was doing my planning, and it was partly because I hadn't really got any really good bell-based products already in my stash. I've got a few bells, but they're not fancy, and they're definitely not focal points. They are sort of like background or small accent type stamps. And I think I have used one in previous, I think I've used like a Santa with one, or I've used the moose with something. But I just fancied a really good focal point bell, and I just fancied doing decoupage. And you know what? Quite cheap, few pounds from Katie Sue, 3 sheets. And I enjoyed putting it together. Now, I used to do decoupage with pin flare glue gel. I don't own any. So I couldn't do that. And I looked at my adhesive foam tabs and I thought they're a bit thick really for the amount of layers. I think there's 7 or 8 layers to this particular image. And I thought they're going to be massive if I use the foam adhesives. So then I thought, oh, I could use my glue dots. The glue dots give just a tiny bit of dimension. It's a bit easy to kind of use them. And I used normal liquid glue just on the very edges where it was a little bit more filigree. And that sort of almost bent the shape of the bell a little bit. So it's not stacked with dimension, but it's got enough for it to still give the shape of the bells. So that's what I did. I will recommend, if anybody really likes doing decoupage, something like pin flare glue gel. It's kind of like a glue that you put in a syringe, and it kind of keeps its dimension and its shape as it dries. So you can do it so that it's spread a little bit thinner, or you could do it in quite a big blob, and that's what I used to do decoupage with back in the day. As I say, I've not done decoupage really for years. I think I did a couple of years ago when I found some stuff in my craft room and I was clearing out, and I thought, oh well, might as well make these up. But yeah, not something I've gone to very often. I do tend to find that decoupage is quite often in what we call the more classic designs like this, very traditional looking. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. And so maybe it's about the demographic that they're trying to appeal to. But I think this is a gorgeous image, really pretty. Some of them are a little bit too twee for me. That's all I'm saying. Okay, now the decoupage sheets comes with all of those layers of the decoupage. It also comes with a few little embellishments, a few little bits and bobs that you can then add to your card. I did start building mine up with a few other bits. So I have added that indigo blue tartan paper that I bought last year sometime, and I think I've used it on a couple of cards now this Christmas in July. They're all beautiful vintage looking tartans, sort of a little bit grungy looking. So I did my background layer of that. I did ink up the edge of my panel that had got my bell on it, which I had trimmed down just slightly, just a touch. And you'll see that I'd also added that sentiment, which is Jingle all the way, and I'd added it to some craft self-adhesive paper that I had got on my desk, and inked it up a little bit. And then inside the card I'm adding another bit of tartan, another little bit of that craft paper or craft cardstock. And then, I'm sorry I'm cutting it off to the side, I was just getting rid of all the little bobbly bits from around the edges, and then adding this little element on the inside. I then decided I would also add another sentiment on the inside. I really went to town on the inside on this card, but mainly because the sheet comes with all these bits and bobs, and it's like, well, I want to get them used, so I might as well, otherwise they're just going to hang around my desk. So the bits that do end up hanging around my desk that I've got left are the little bow, which I contemplated adding, decided not to. There is a little wiggle of circle, and then there is the strip that the bow would add on to for a ribbon embellishment. And that is my card lovely and done. I did attempt to add Wink of Stella to the bells just to make them extra shimmery, but they kind of got a coating on the paper, so it didn't stay. It just basically was liquid pooling on the top. So I was like, maybe not. So I wiped it off with my little, what's it called? My little microfiber cloth. And then I just instead found these 3 little enamel dots in the red. I did contemplate adding another 2 down the bottom, but decided just to leave those 3. And then that really is my card done. Except for, oh look, the video continues. Having not crafted for a few days, I suddenly got the bit of a, well, how about we see what we can make with one more sheet. So I've got one more sheet for saving for a future world where I might do it. But let's see if we can make a couple of cards out of this one and some slightly different designs. Because I did go for really simple, dead obvious. That's what it's kind of designed to look like. To be honest, I didn't go back to the website from when I bought this maybe 2 months ago to go and look at how they'd actually done their final designs. I just made that bit up as I went along. But I thought, well, let's see what else we can do. And because there are so many layers of this decoupage, I thought, do you know what? You could split it in half and that would make 2 cards easily. So I'm thinking of being even more frugal for people who want to do cards and think, well, I want to get as much out of this money as I can. Buy 1 pack, you get 3 sheets. You could easily split them in half and maybe even make another couple of cards using those little elements. You're basically at least doubling how much you think you're going to make with it. I think that's a really good deal. So this one on the panel, the way I split it up was just basically to take every other layer rather than every layer. And so on the first one, I did it all with the glue dots. So it's quite a flat card, not so much dimension. And on this one, I did use my foam adhesives. And you'll see at the end, when I show you the pictures of how built up they are, you can really see the difference between them. So I suppose this card making video has turned into a bit of you can do different things with your kits. Don't just do what the dead obvious thing is. Think about splitting them up, thinking about making them stretch. And then think about the card designs that you're going to do. I do end up doing all 3 as top folding note cards. This one I am keeping fairly similar to the first one, as in I am going to keep it to a layer of the pattern paper. But as you can see there, I have corner rounded the edges of both the paper and the card blank. And then this panel, again, I'm going to trim it down. I did trim it down with the intention of inking it up and forgot to ink it up. Oh well. But I did, again, corner punch, rounding it. I did make that one a little bit shorter as a focal point. So there's a little bit more of the video, that's the wrong word, isn't it? The paper showing. Then I added in a little piece of this green cardstock. It is self-adhesive cardstock from my Diamond Press. So it's not easy to add. Just to break up the background a little bit more. And this time I've added a different sentiment. So this one I'm adding the With Love, that if you remember, I took off that first sheet earlier and put to one side. Well, now it's getting used. So I'm going to use it, just stick it down with a little bit of ATG. And then I'm going to use that little bow that was also left over from that first sheet. So I've still got one left at this point. So that is the front of that card. I did decide I was going to add some different gems. So this time I've chosen these sort of green glittery gold ones. And I'm just adding the 3 corners as if it's sort of like been, what's the word? Stuck in place with those gems. Does that make sense? You know, like you would screw it or nail it or something. In my head, that all makes sense. It might not make sense out loud to you. Sorry. Inside, a couple of strips. One of that ribbon element and the other one of the pattern paper. I'm just using up the bits of offcuts that were on the table. And then I'm adding in the sentiment over a piece of that inked up craft paper, just because it's there and it's ready. So that was card number 2 done. I will show you pictures at the end, so don't worry. Card number 3, I decided not to add the pattern paper in the background as a panel, partly because I hadn't got a big enough piece to do that, but also because I wanted to share a slightly different version. Obviously, the actual decoupage piece hasn't got the background because it's been used on the other card. So instead, I've created sort of like shadow centre for it, just a little bit of inking with my vintage photo. Then I did some splattering with water and vintage photo, then added a little bit of the Perfect Pearls mica powder into that inky mess and did more splattering. So it's a very overly splattery background. I did contemplate using that stamp, don't end up doing it, but I did contemplate using the stamp and stamping that in the background and decided, no, don't go over the top, try and keep this relatively clean and simple. I don't know if this kind of card is considered clean and simple by real standards, but you know, for me it's clean and simple. I haven't added 16,000 different elements to it, which is what I normally do. Have got that piece of pattern paper. I decided to cut it into a banner rather than keeping it as a flat strip. And then I'm just going to glue my decoupage panel that's got quite a lot of dimension. Remember this one because it's the foam adhesive bits. And I'm just going to glue that on the top. Use my fingers just to press a few bits in place. And then, as I say, I did and ah with that sentiment, but I decided instead to go with the Jingle All the Way sentiment. I did just trim it down a little bit. I couldn't be bothered using my trimmer, so I used my scissors, but I think I did a reasonable job at keeping it straight. And then I'm going to do it so it hangs off the bells, so a few foam adhesives to one side, and it's just stuck to the top of the other bells. Now, I am now creating something for the inside of this card. This time, again, going for one of those little banner pieces, these little offcuts of the tartan paper that's left. I'm having a little flick through what have I got left on the sheet, and I've got that With Love circle. I'm going to add that in, and then I am also going to add the little bow, I think. Do I add the little bow? Or did I not bother? Nope, I didn't bother. I thought I'd added the little bow on the inside. Nope, I didn't. So there you go, 3 cards. You bet you weren't expecting that at the beginning of this. I certainly wasn't. I thought I was going to really struggle because my head was a little bit out of practice with crafting, but it's funnily enough, as soon as you actually get started, even if your first project you keep dead simple, sometimes it can just make you go, and then you're off on your little creative journey. That's how it works for me. So I hope you enjoyed the close-ups here of all of them, and you'll see like on a few of them where I've kind of done the angle, there you go, to try and share with you the dimension that's on these cards. I always forget to tell you, if you go over to my Instagram, of which I have not very many followers, but it's Inky Fingered Cat is my Instagram handle. If you go over there, you'll get to see all the photos, because I post on there every single project I make, even if it's not on video. Obviously all these are on video, but you'll get to see all the photos, and you can then obviously pause on them. You don't have to wait for the video to flick through them, etc. Okay, I think that's it for the video. The last card just to be shared now. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed this. Is decoupage something that you have given a go in the past and think, oh, do you know what, I've not done that for years, like I did? I really enjoyed doing it. I'm looking forward to using the final sheet at some point in the future, but you know what, that's going to be put away. We've got another video to make, probably tomorrow now, because it's too late for me to start another one now. Please subscribe if you've not already. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.